America's Latino population stands at 68 million as of October 2025, making up 20% of all 340 million residents. Among them, just 9.3 million people, exactly 14%, gained citizenship by completing every step of the naturalization process. They started with legal entry, secured green cards as permanent residents, lived here continuously for 5 years, proved English skills, passed a test on our history and government, showed good moral character, and swore an oath of loyalty under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Most came through family ties, some via job visas, and a few as refugees seeking safety, filing the proper forms without any shortcuts. The remaining 86% live here through completely different routes. Government counts show 8.5 million undocumented Latinos, but experts agree surveys miss 10 to 20% due to poor tracking and weak enforcement, pushing the real figure to 10 to 13 million. Beyond that, open border policies since 2020 let millions slip in completely unknown, meaning over 20 million more undocumented Latinos could be here right now with no way to confirm the exact total. Another group of 5.1 million holds green cards for permanent residency without becoming citizens yet. Then 2.5 million stay on temporary visas for work or visits. The largest share, 51.5 million people or 76%, consists of those born on U.S. soil as automatic citizens, including 42 million total U.S.-born Latinos and 5 million whose parents lacked papers but who gained full rights at birth under the 14th Amendment. This sharp split proves that strict naturalization represents a small committed group, while most Latinos arrived or stayed through birthright, unauthorized crossings, residency status, or short-term permits. Family connections drive green cards but create decade-long waits for many from Mexico and Central America. Job seekers begin with farm or professional visas, and refugees skip initial paperwork but still need residency approval after 1 year. Non-Latino immigrants total 45.3 million foreign-born residents, with 20.7 million becoming citizens, 45% overall, far higher than Latinos. Their undocumented numbers start at 3.7 to 5.9 million but likely double with undercounts, and open borders suggest over 20 million more untracked from Asia, Europe, and Africa. Before 2020, total undocumented stayed steady at 10.5 million, split evenly between Latinos and others. After 2020 under new policies, it climbed to 14 million by 2023 with 3.5 million net new arrivals. Independent estimates reach 18.6 million total undocumented today, but the hidden reality could easily double that figure. The sections ahead break down Latino statuses clearly, trace entry paths, expose counting gaps, examine fraud threats, and end with steps to protect true citizenship. Part 1. Latino statuses. 14% naturalized versus 86% other routes. The 9.3 million naturalized Latinos followed a demanding path of family entry in most cases, green card approval, 5 years residency, language tests, history exams, character checks, and loyalty oaths. Recent data shows Mexicans leading new citizens, followed by Dominicans and Cubans. These individuals represent 14% of all Latinos and stand apart from the 86% who live here differently. U.S.-born Latinos number 42 million and gain citizenship automatically at birth regardless of family background. This group alone accounts for 62% of the total population. Among them, 5 million have parents who entered without authorization, yet these children hold full rights and can later sponsor family members. Undocumented Latinos officially total 8.5 million but rise to 10 to 13 million when accounting for missed surveys and enforcement failures. Open borders since 2020 added countless untracked arrivals, likely pushing this group over 20 million more than reported, though exact counts remain impossible to verify. Green card holders total 5.1 million and enjoy permanent residency without taking the final citizenship step. Temporary visa users number 2.5 million, working in agriculture or visiting briefly. Foreign-born Latinos total 24 million, with 39% completing naturalization, 35% staying undocumented, 23% holding residency cards, and 10% on visas. Adjusting for undercounts brings total Latinos to 70 to 72 million, slightly lowering the naturalized share. Puerto Ricans add 5 million instant citizens through territorial birth, skipping all processes entirely. Among foreign-born, direct green cards drive 75% of citizenships while temporary visas feed the rest. Family routes in 70% of cases require no job proof, unlike employment paths in 25% that demand offers up front. Non-Latino foreign-born residents reach 45.3 million, with 20.7 million gaining citizenship, 45% overall. Asians lead at 11.7 million, Europeans follow with 4.1 million, and Africans total 2.9 million. Their green cards number 7.7 million, visas 1.8 million, and birthright cases 9 million. Undocumented non-Latinos start at 3.7 to 5.9 million, but likely exceed 20 million more with hidden entries. Before 2020, undocumented totaled 10.5 million split between groups. After policy changes, it grew to 14 million, with independent counts at 18.6 million today. Mexicans face long family waits, Central Americans seek asylum protection, South Americans win lotteries, and Cubans receive special fast tracks. This breakdown confirms 14% earned citizenship through full effort while 86% used birthright, unauthorized entry, residency, or temporary stays. Non-Latinos succeed at triple the rate through similar channels. Part 2. Entry paths. How 14% qualified versus 86% other routes. Naturalized Latinos in the 14% group entered through structured channels leading to citizenship. Temporary visas covered 60% of initial arrivals, including farm work permits for Mexicans and professional visas for South Americans, lasting 1 to 6 years before switching to residency. Direct green cards handled 25%, mainly family petitions, job sponsorships, lotteries, or refugee status. Spouses from Mexico wait 1 to 2 years. Siblings face over 10 years. Refugees arrive without visas and gain residency after 1 year. Asylum seekers apply from inside the country. Citizenship demands residency first, then 5 years living here, 3 years if married to a citizen, followed by language and history tests plus an oath. Family channels in 70% of cases skip job requirements. Work routes in 25% need employer offers. A tourist marrying within 1 year reaches citizenship in 6 to 7 years total. Farm workers take 7 years through job sponsorship. Refugees finish in 5 years from arrival. Costs range from $2,000 to $3,000. Puerto Ricans bypass everything with 5 million automatic citizens from birth on the island. Venezuelans use temporary protections to adjust status later. Visa-first cases total 2.3 million over 6 to 7 years. Direct family totals 7 million in 5 to 6 years. Refugees reach 0.9 million in 4 to 5 years. The 86% used simpler routes. Birthright grants 42 million instant status at birth. Undocumented cross-borders or overstay permits. Green cards provide 5.1 million permanent stays without citizenship pursuit. Visas allow 2.5 million short-term presence. Non-Latino paths yield better results. 75% of Asians move from professional visas to residency. 60% of Europeans use company transfers. 40% of Africans claim asylum or lotteries. Their citizenship totals break down with Asians at 11.7 million, Europeans at 4.1 million, and Africans at 2.9 million. Residency cards reach 7.7 million, with 4.6 million Asian. Visa-first totals 6.2 million in 7 to 8 years. Direct family 10.4 million in 5 to 6 years. Refugees 3.1 million in 4 to 5 years. Last year's residency approvals totaled 12.8 million, split 40% Latino and 60% non-Latino. Citizenship follow-through stands at 70% for Latinos and 80% for Asians. Backlogs delay 1 million cases. Pre-2020 arrivals averaged 500,000 Latinos and 800,000 others yearly. Post-2020 net flow hit 2.8 million annually. Farm permits issue 500,000 yearly, mostly Mexican. Professional visas cap at 85,000, mostly Asian. Cuban programs grant 5% direct residency. South Americans succeed in lotteries. Central Americans in asylum claims. Thus 14% navigated complex paths to citizenship, while 86% took birthright, unauthorized, residency, or temporary routes. Non-Latinos triple the success rate. Part 3. Hidden counts. Why 86% other means outnumber 14%. Government reports list 8.5 million undocumented Latinos, but missed data from weak surveys and sanctuary areas raise this to 10 to 13 million. Open borders since 2020 hid millions more, likely adding over 20 million undocumented Latinos beyond any count, with no accurate verification possible. This reality shows why 86% of Latinos reside here outside full naturalization, while only 14% completed the process. Birthright leads the 86%, with 42 million US-born Latinos gaining automatic status, including 5 million from unauthorized parents who can sponsor family later. Undocumented grew from 8.4 million pre-2020 to 11.2 million by 2023, fueled by 1.8 million undetected crossings and 70% releases from 10 million border encounters. Green cards offer 5.1 million permanent residency without citizenship steps. Visas support 2.5 million temporary stays. Foreign-born Latinos total 24 million, split as 39% naturalized, 35% undocumented, 23% residency holders, and 10% visa users. Total population adjusts to 70 to 72 million with undercounts, trimming naturalized share slightly. Asylum approvals release 78% inside to wait years. Temporary protections cover 900,000 Latinos. Parole admits 500,000 from Venezuela. Overstays make up 40% of unauthorized cases and adjust quietly. Undocumented contribute $100 billion in taxes yearly, but see just 4% removed. Non-Latino undocumented starts at 3.7 to 5.9 million, doubles with adjustments, and likely adds over 20 million more untracked from Asia, Europe, and Africa. Pre-2020 totals held at 2.1 million. Post-2020 reached 2.8 million. Overall peak hit 14 million in 2023, split 11.2 million Latino and 2.8 million non-Latino, but hidden totals could reach 34 million or higher. Birthright covers 9 million non-Latinos. Residency totals 7.7 million. Visas number 1.8 million. Disparities highlight the gap. Naturalized Latinos at 9.3 million versus 10 to 13 million documented unauthorized, plus over 20 million unknown. Mexicans show 50% undocumented rates. South Americans reach 20 to 30%. Non-Latinos record Asians at 15% unauthorized and Africans at 25%, yet achieve 45% naturalization versus Latinos at 14%. Pre-2020 undocumented stayed at 10.5 million total. Post-policy changes added 3.5 million net, including 400,000 yearly births to unauthorized mothers. Puerto Rican birth grants 5 million automatic citizens. African asylum boosts non-Latino citizenship but masks early unauthorized stays. Official Latino totals miss 4 to 6%, reaching 72 million adjusted. Peak unauthorized fell slightly in 2025 from removals, but hidden flows persist. Birthright alone at 62% Latino outpaces all other categories combined. The 86% through birthright, unauthorized surges, residency, and visas clearly overwhelm the 14% true naturalized path, especially with over 20 million unknown Latinos amplifying the imbalance against higher non-Latino citizenship rates. Part 4. Fraud threats, undermining 14% naturalized within 86% other. Fraud strikes 1 to 2% of naturalized Latinos, letting 93,000 to 186,000 infiltrators claim citizenship, while 86% other routes hide even greater risks. Fake Mexican birth records create family eligibility for green cards. Sham marriages speed approvals in 1 to 2 years and make up 20% of probes. Hidden crimes break moral character rules, leading to 21 revocations since 2019. Notario scams sell forged passports to Spanish speakers for $5,000 to $10,000. South American lottery fraud spreads widely. Asylum fakes pass 78% initial reviews for interior release. Bribes alter Mexican records. Printers make false Salvadoran clearances. 10% of family cases involve forgeries. Federal agents seized 1,000 fakes last year. Non-Latinos use counterfeit South American papers in under 5% of cases. Within 86% routes, unauthorized asylum seekers gain release, temporary protections expire into overstays, and tourist marriages adjust status. Farm visa overstays win employer sponsorship. Birthright delays parent removals until children turn 21. Backlogs of 1 million cases conceal issues. Policy gaps waive re-entry bans and convert parole to residency without leaving. Last year's 818,500 approvals showed relaxed checks, with a special operation revoking 21 criminal cases from before 2011. Fraud splits as 40% fake documents, 30% false marriages, 20% covered crimes, and 10% outright scams. Non-Latino fraud hits 1.5% or 414,000 cases with similar patterns. True naturalized Latinos fall to 9.1 million, non-Latinos to 20.3 million. Revocation starts with agency audits, Justice Department lawsuits, and court orders returning people to residency status before deportation. No time limit applies per Supreme Court ruling. Only 100 cases happen yearly against 818,500 grants. Latino fraud surges include Venezuelan protection fakes and Mexican long-wait forgeries. A Guatemalan case marked a 2024 revocation. Non-Latino issues feature Indian job visa shams and Ukrainian entry lies. Pre-2020 fraud stayed at 1% among unauthorized. Post-2020 doubled to 2.5%. Family channels prove most vulnerable at 70% of cases versus 25% employment routes. Refugee paths require residency despite no initial visa. Fraud connects 86% unauthorized routes to citizenship, letting 93,000 Latino and 414,000 non-Latino cheats succeed through gaps. The 14% naturalized group, 9.1 million Latinos and 20.3 million non-Latinos, faces threats from 186,000 plus 414,000 fraudsters amid 13 million plus 5.9 million tracked unauthorized, and over 20 million more completely unknown. Fraud weakens even earned citizenship, while 86% other means offer prime exploitation ground, contrasting Latino challenges with stronger non-Latino system navigation. Conclusion: 14% naturalized versus 86% other means. This assessment lays bare the essential reality of Latino residency in America. A clear minority of 14% secured citizenship solely through the demanding full naturalization process, while the overwhelming majority of 86% established presence through birthright at birth, unauthorized border crossings, permanent residency without further steps, or temporary work and visit permits. The naturalized group navigated complex legal entry, years of required residency, language and history mastery, character scrutiny, and formal allegiance, paths demanding sustained commitment and compliance. By contrast, the 86% majority reflects broader, less rigorous avenues. Automatic status for those born on U.S. soil regardless of parental origins, direct entry without papers, residency cards granting long-term stay absent citizenship pursuit, and short-term visas for labor or travel. Non-Latino immigrants demonstrate markedly higher success in completing naturalization, achieving over 3 times the rate through comparable entry mechanisms, but with stronger follow-through to final status. Time reveals further contrasts. Pre-2020 flows maintained measured stability across groups, while subsequent policy shifts unleashed unprecedented surges that exponentially grew unauthorized presence for both Latinos and others. Official tallies capture mere fractions of reality, as undercounting from flawed tracking and enforcement gaps doubles documented figures, and open border conditions hide millions more entirely beyond reach, potentially doubling totals again with no verification possible. Fraud compounds vulnerabilities, piercing even the disciplined 14% naturalized through document forgery, false relationships, and hidden violations, while the 86% other routes provide fertile ground for broader exploitation amid backlogs and resource shortages. Non-Latinos face similar threats but maintain higher integrity through better system navigation. The core lesson demands urgent reform. Systematic verification of all naturalized citizens via biometric checks and character reviews, citizen boards to assess ongoing fitness, expanded revocation for fraud or non-compliance, merit-based entry caps, and birthright limits tied to parental legality. Such measures reclaim citizenship as earned privilege, protect the committed 14% minority, curb 86% alternative dominance, eliminate hidden millions, and restore national sovereignty to those proving full dedication to American principles and laws.